Giants preseason football is about a week away, and our coverage of the New York Giants on this channel is going to heat up. Videos every single day, so subscribe, lock us in for the best coverage of the New York Giants this season on YouTube. And honestly, if you don't love Big Blue, then What's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. And with the Giants wrapping up their sixth practice of their training camp session this summer, I thought it would be a good idea to go through some winners and some losers. And I mean, you're not really a loser if you're on this list. It was just, you kind of fell short of my expectations. Maybe some injuries popped up, something along those lines. We got 5 winners, 3 losers. Let's start with winners because winners always finish first. And the biggest one is Darnay Holmes. He's looked really good in practice, competing for that slot corner position. This is someone that had a lot of expectations coming in. A couple years ago, his rookie year, didn't live up to those expectations, but it sounds like this is the year that Darnay Holmes is going to take another step. This picture right here was when he intercepted Daniel Jones on a screen pass, jumped the line of scrimmage. It was an awesome play. He's been incredible in practice. Here's another picture of picking off Daniel Jones in the red zone opportunity, jumped in front of a pass intended for Saquon Barkley. Through the first 4 practices for Darnay Holmes, he forced 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and he also had a peanut punch where he punched the ball out of Saquon Barkley's hands, forcing in a fumble that was recovered by the defense. He's looked great, and he is winning that slot cornerback competition. A lot of people thought it could be Cordell Flott, or Julian Love would be a guy that would transfer from safety to slot corner, but it looks like Darnay Holmes is going to be the guy that's manning the slot corner position for the New York Giants. They'll have Adoree Jackson to his left and Aaron Robinson on the outside, being the cornerback number 2 for this Giants team. I like Darnay Holmes a lot. 4 forced turnovers in 4 practices. He's looked good. Trainer said he's looked quicker and stronger, and his confidence just continues to grow, and that's what you want to see in a young player. It sounds like Darnay Holmes has already won the job. He's looked good. He's played good defense against Toney, Robinson. Richie James has had some battles with him in one-on-ones, but I want to know who you think will be the starting slot corner come week 1 for the New York Giants. Type DH for Darnay Holmes or CF for the rookie Cordell Flott. I couldn't decide which guy to put first, Kadarius Toney or Wan'Dale Robinson, so let's put them out there both at the same time. These 2 guys have arguably been the best players on the field throughout training camp for the New York Giants. This is going to be the next great receiving pair for the Giants. Whatever you want to call them, we'll ask you that in a second. The new dynamic duo is what I'm rolling with. We'll ask you in a second, but they've looked great. And Kadarius Toney has had so much love shown by Brian Daboll. They're playing his rap albums at practice. You can just tell that Daboll is trying to get on the good side of Kadarius Toney, because it didn't seem like Garrett or Joe Judge were really all that tight with Toney. And Daboll talked about Toney is a guy that respects people that respect him. He's a guy that's very loyal, and that's what Daboll's trying to do, because he knows that Kadarius Toney could be one of the best playmakers in the NFL when the ball is in his hands. He wants to get every ounce of juice out of him. Pause, that sounded super sus. But Daboll knows that Toney could be a good player, and he's going to do everything he can to put him in a position to succeed. We showed you that picture a second ago of Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney. They have been lighting practice up on fire. From where they're aligning to what they're doing when the ball's in their hands, getting open, catching the football, taking handoffs, Wildcat. They're doing it all, and they are going to be a big focal point of this offense. So I want to ask you, what is your nickname for the new Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney duo? I want to see what all you creative geniuses out there come up with, and we'll feature the best one on the next Giants Now. I want to show some love to Xavier McKinney. He's been the best DB, in my opinion, through Giants training camp so far. Darnay Holmes has looked really good, but McKinney is just showing why that he is going to be a captain of this team. He's even wearing the green dot on his helmet during practices. He's calling out the plays. He's the defensive captain. He's the signal caller. He's the guy that's getting everyone organized. And for a safety to be doing that, I feel is very noteworthy. Usually it's the middle linebacker like Blake Martinez. That's the guy that's commanding the huddle on defense and getting everyone aligned and having that green dot. That green dot means that the defensive coordinator can talk to Xavier McKinney during the game. McKinney can hear them until like the play clock gets to about 15 seconds in real NFL games. But he's going to be a captain of this team. He's a leader. He's going to have a great season. Last year, he was already great. He was the only player in the NFL with more than 90 tackles, 10 pass breakups, and 5 interceptions. I'm expecting the X-Man to compete, to be an all-pro player this year. Him and a Martindale defense, it's going to be something all Giants fans are going to love to see. I just want to show Xavier McKinney some love because I feel like he doesn't get a lot of love nationwide, and media across the nation really doesn't show him love. But I know Giants fans love him. I love him, and it's because he's a damn good football player. So I just want everyone to type X in the comment section. So Xavier McKinney some love. Type X down there if you're rocking with number 29 this year. Another guy that a lot of Giants fans don't really like all that much, and I really don't get it. Maybe you don't think he's as good as advertised, but Leonard Williams has been an absolute freaking stud all training camp long. He is dominating one-on-ones. Ben Bredesen, Mark Lewinsky, Shane Lemieux, they can't block him. Whenever there's a one-on-one situation, he wins. He is still the best player on this defense. And it really doesn't matter if the offensive line holds him. He's just going to rip through it. His jersey's going to get ripped, and he's going to continue to play hard. Leonard Williams is the heartbeat of this defense. We're going to go as he goes. And I feel like in this Martindale system where you get free rushes and all the exotic blitz schemes and the different things that Martindale likes to do, I think Leonard Williams is going to take another step forward this season and earn the bag that Dave Gettleman gave him. I love Leonard Williams. I think he's going to take his game to another stratosphere this season. He's the heartbeat of this defense. He's another captain, and he still remains the best player on this defense until Xavier McKinney one day takes that title from him. But speaking of Leonard Williams, I also want to talk about the other pass rushers on this team, Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeaux. This is a question for all you watching right now. Who finishes the 2022 season with the most sacks? If you're rocking with Leonard Williams, type 99, type 51 for Azeez Ojulari, and type number 5 for the rookie Kayvon Thibodeaux. In life, there's winners and there's losers. We talked about the winners at the top of the show. There was other guys as well. David Sills looked really good today. So did Daniel Jones. Tyrod Taylor has looked good. Saquon Barkley has looked good. But let's focus on some guys that have not looked all that good so far. And that's Jamil Douglas is probably the biggest loser, in my opinion, so far. With John Feliciano missing the past couple of practices with heat exhaustion, Jamil Douglas had the opportunity to be the Giants' number 1 center with Feliciano on the field. But when he got that opportunity, he looked terrible. He couldn't snap the ball. Him and Daniel Jones had multiple fumbles on the exchanges, and he was just getting dominated by Dexter Lawrence. So much so that Shane Lemieux took his spot the very next day as the starting center, and now Ben Bredesen is the guy that's taking the first team center reps with Feliciano off the field. Honestly, it sucks to say it. I thought we were past this, but the Giants' backup offensive line in general has been bad. The starters have looked good, but the backups have not looked good. And the Giants have kind of gone cheap. They put a lot of bodies in that position for competition, and the cream will always rise to the top. But right now, the offensive line is not, the backup offensive line is not looking all that good. And that's why I think the Giants may need to go out and sign another guy to beef up, especially the interior offensive line. The starters have looked good, the backups not so much. But I want to ask you this question. What's your confidence in the Giants' offensive line? As Giants fans, we know that has been the Achilles heel of the Giants for far too long. So with Evan Neal now here, Andrew Thomas taking another step, Mark Lewinsky here, I want to see where you're feeling at. Scale it 1 to 10, your confidence in the Giants' offensive line. Here at Giants Now, we're growing to platforms that you guys use, and I want to give a shout-out to Rumble, today's sponsor. You can get more Giants content over at rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. It's free. It's uncensored. They have all type of content over there. Sports, news, politics, text, and we're growing to platforms that you guys are using. So give us a follow. Show us some love. Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. The Giants Now channel by Chat Sports, we're ranked 3rd in most followers over at Rumble. I want to get to that number 1 spot, so give us a follow, rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. Ricky Seals-Jones is also a loser. And this one, not more so because of what he's done on the field, but the fact that he just hasn't been on the field. Seals-Jones has missed the last 5 practices for the New York Giants during their training camp session, and it's due to an undisclosed reason. So if it's a family issue, if it's something along those lines, I want to give a shout out to Ricky Seals-Jones and hope everything's going well. But these reps are super valuable, especially for him, a guy that's bounced around the NFL throughout his early NFL career. And now he comes to a team that is in the need of a strong veteran tight end that can be the starter, and he hasn't really given himself the opportunity to participate in practice. Missing the last 5 practices, he's been a guy that's losing out on reps to Daniel Bellinger, Jordan Akins. Austin Allen has been getting a lot of first-team reps. So Ricky Seals-Jones, I have him as a loser just because the best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available the last 5 practices. Another guy that is somewhat of a loser is Kenny Golladay. He's kind of just had a slow and sluggish start to training camp. He didn't practice today. He had the day off, kind of a load management type of deal that Brian Daboll talked about. But it's the drops and the lack of separation continue to haunt Kenny Golladay. He's dropped a couple easy catches so far through training camp. One would have been a touchdown from Daniel Jones, and he is creating zero separation. That's really never been the name of his game. He's always been a contested catch guy, but you got to at some point get open. And that's when Daniel Jones will hit you. Clearly hasn't built up that confidence in you to be that contested catch monster that you were in Detroit with Matthew Stafford. So if he's not going to get open, no separation, and he's not catching the football, it's going to be hard for Daniel Jones to rely on him. And honestly, I'm not sure this new offensive scheme really fits Kenny Golladay that much. We all want to see Golladay be targeted in the red zone and thrown fades and jump balls and contested catches, but that's not really what Daboll and Kafka are going to do. They're going to use a lot of motions, a lot of eye candy, jet sweeps, shovel passes, pop passes, tight end screens in the red zone. They don't really throw the ball up in a one-on-one fade situation. And I think that's kind of going to hurt Golladay a little bit this year, especially the fact that he needs to have a big year. If he doesn't play well this year, I could see the Giants moving on from him in the offseason by cutting him or trading him because of that contract he was given by Dave Gettleman is something he has not lived up to. I think Golladay still has talent. I think it can be tapped into. I do also think he's really bought in. He said he stayed locally throughout the offseason and worked with Daniel Jones. It's just time for those two to get on the same page and have the results show. Because if you work and the results show, the work sometimes wasn't all that worth it. But I want to once again get you guys to chime in and share your thoughts and opinions on Kenny Golladay. 0 touchdowns this past year. Do you think he could score 5 TDs this year? I don't want to set the bar too high or too low, but I think 5 TDs is a cool number. Let me know what you're thinking. Over, under, Kenny Golladay, 5 TDs this year. Sound off in the comments. I want to say thank you to everybody that's made New York Giants now a part of their day today. The NFL season is just around the corner, and it is going to be a party on this channel on Sundays. We're going to be doing watch parties. I'll be doing play-by-play for the games live. We're only going to continue to grow, and that's a shout-out to all of the real ones out there. So let's do a real one roll call. If you made it this far in the video, drop a real one in the comment section right now.